250 intermediate moto number 3 coming into this one. Jake Trico had a stranglehold on the championship with a 1-1 score, but he would come out of the gate and disappear and not get that jump. It was T. Parrott on the 737 getting the jump, and as you can see, the rain had fallen and laid down a mess here for moto number 3 for this 250 intermediate division. Trico would actually get himself into about 5th place, but on the first lap, he would have a spectacular crash going all the way back to 12th. The work had to lay down would be unbelievable watching as Parrott, Nathan Augustine, and Guillaume would do 1, 2, 3 on the green flag lap. And there's Parrott right there soldiering through that mud with Augustine sitting in second. A 2-2-2 as it stood at the halfway point would give Augustine the championship, but Trico sat down and fought hard and chased down this man right here, Bird Guillaume, in third, and would grab that third spot by the checkered. T. Parrott would win the moto, Augustine second, but Jake Trico would be your 250 intermediate champion. 50 GP, one of the youngest classes here at the Walton TRANSCAN. This is the future of our sport. I do all the announcing right now, and I'll tell you, talking to these kids, it's so fun and so cool to see what our future holds here in Canada. And the Canadian out the inside right there, Nathan Snellgrove, the 81, would grab that early lead. And Ty Gravel actually getting out of that gate quite well. But later on, we would see Jesse James Shedden, Nathan Snellgrove, and Brenner Lamons right there on the number 1 start taking away, and these kids would wage war. But Jesse James Shedden, as you see right there, did not get off to one of his patented good starts. He had to work to bring home this championship. Ryder Snellgrove, this kid was jumping the step down, the only rider in this class to make that happen. And I'll tell you what, he was impressive watching it. But Jesse James Shedden would make the pass and bring that championship for the 50 GP back to California. 65cc 10 to 11, the last little bike class before you get up onto those 85s. Creighton Dillon had an outside shot against Sebastian Racine, but this kid was money on every lap, on every gate drop, and as we see right here, he is money once again. If you're a betting man, the number 2 is the guy you lay your money on. And as you can see, the track was uber money, as this was an early morning moto for these guys, and a good shot of Creighton Dillon right there battling through. But Sebastian Racine would lead this from start to finish. Bobby Gravel would actually serve up a great ride here, getting on the podium for the first time this week, and that is what the mud does. It's that great equalizer, as everyone likes to call it, and it can make anybody get another chance. Poor Jameson McDonald will go down early on, but we would see him later on by the end of this moto, as that kid would never give up and finish third here in the deepest mud and the craziest conditions. But Racine was your champ. 85cc 12 to 16, the last class before you get yourself on the big bikes out here, and Ryder McNabb was in total control. He had a 1-1 coming into this moto, but out of the gate it was Tanner Scott, the 46. This kid, I don't know if he's family members with the gate dropper, but I'll tell you what, he was spot on for the whole shots all week long as he the 46. And McNabb actually not getting out of the gate that great, but by the end of lap number 1, he was all over Tanner Scott, ready to bring home his second title of the week after that SUPERMINI victory out in the mud. The track here starting to get a little bit better as the weather would get better early on championship day. Tanner Scott, a little before this motor, said he may not ride. That silly little guy went out and rode amazing as well. The 95 of Evan Stewart on his TM right here came out blazing and put down a great ride. But it was Ryder McNabb bringing home the 85 total 16 champ, the number 1 plate. 250 Junior Moto 3, the final moto of day number 3. The rain came down and ruined a lot of what we saw today, but right up the inside, you see right there, the number 20, he is clean and ready to take control. He's wearing that yellow bib, he grabs the whole shot, and he would run away and bring home a championship. But behind him, there was chaos all motor long. But Jeremy Mackay did the important thing, got himself to the front of the pack, got out of the slop, got out of the glue that we see here at Walton Raceway, and brought him home a little title. He is in the hunt for that Blue Crew award as well for that top Yamaha rider with the way that he is slingshotting his way around the track. Riders were going down everywhere, all over the place. I believe that's Christoph Kapakanitis right there sliding by, getting himself in, and he would finish second place in the moto at 157. Going through the whoop section, a little bit slower than normal, but making it happen. And there's Nicholas Burnside, you can tell by the yellow pants. He comes across the third. Smoke 3, Jerry Mackay up on the box, taking the title. Ladies, moto number 3, could anybody stop Eve Berger? Absolutely not. The number 1 on the East, the 4-time Canadian champ, would get out of the gate and never look back. but it was the 110 of Emma Sorella that surprised everybody in this moto in the tough conditions as we watch the number 5 of Emily Laval go down in that background. Eve Brodeur, she is carrying women's motocross throughout our country right now, and she is the face of the future of our sport right here, our full-time champ. But Emma Sorella on that Husky, the number 110, she surprised everybody. The moto prior to this one, she had a great ride, finishing 4th, but in this moto here, she would come across that line and grab a 3rd spot with a solid ride from start to finish. This young lady from the MPA showed her wares in the tough conditions, but nobody could shake a stick at that Eve Brodeur. Landry Hazen, the 45, did a great job holding on to that 2nd spot, and Sorella ended up finishing 3rd, but your champion was Eve Brodeur. Manley, Wilbrandt, Rosina. Those are the names coming into this moto, but Rosina and actually Manley swap motos 1 and 2, 2-1 coming into it. But Manley got that early jump and solidified why he's leading this championship, with Wyatt Kerr really getting a good start on that outside as well as Thomas Rendell. But Manley would get himself in front of this pack and never look back, even in the sloppy conditions with Cameron Rosina trying to battle. Thomas Rendell early on was great to watch, and he was riding well. And same with Rosina. He was battling hard, he was fighting, but he would eventually go down and give this championship with ease to Trevor Manley. No Wilbrandt, he was so impressive on the 125 out here. The YZ was cruising. But Manley, the American, he came up here with a goal in mind, and he was not going to let it falter no matter the cause, the weather, the track. He was bringing it home. Rosina kept him honest, but by the end, it was the 77 and Manley bringing home the championship. Coming into this final Super Mini Moto, we had 3 riders that had a chance at this championship. Ryder McNabb got himself out early and took control, while Julian Bennick and Zach Ufemzef struggled in behind. As you can see right here, McNabb was destroying the field all alone, the yellow bib. He did exactly what he needed to do and got in front early on and ran away for this championship. Bennick and Ufemzef struggled all moto long, and there's a good shot of Tanner Scott, the whole shot master this week. Didn't get it this race here, but still battling through that mud and riding hard. 2nd spot would go to Luke Trico. Early on in the moto, he would struggle near the end, and Hunter Vaughn would pass, but Trico finally came alive in the mud, and the long legs swung him up onto the box for the first time this week at the 2018 TRANSCAN. But McNabb, the yellow bib, hustling, dragging the legs, slingshotting that KTM across the line, and bringing home the championship. The kid was stoked up on the box. Youth 14 to 29 Intermediate Pro, arguably the fastest class of the week out on the track. Jairee Mitchell was in total control of this race right here in this championship. But out of that gate early on, Davey Frazier would get that good jump, and up the inside, Michael De Silva would actually steal it away. Right away, 2 new faces at the front of the pack. De Silva, the 117, would ride well, but Jairee Mitchell would take it away and run for the championship gauntlet right now, bringing home that number 1. The 196, so impressive from Bermuda on that KTM. So good, so fast, so smooth. And the scrubs, I would hire him to clean my house. He was scrubbing so well. But the man of the hour was the 101, Ryan Lockhart, the noof, struggling all week long. He found it in the final moto here in Youth Intermediate Pro. He would not give Jairee Mitchell any fits, but he would bring home a 2nd place with your champion, Jairee Mitchell. 2-stroke class, the final moto here at the 2018 Walton TRANSCAN. Listen to that sound. Just listen. Oh, that is just dreamy. And the man, Drew Roberts, right there, grabs the early lead, grabs that whole shot, and starts bucking away. But the little kids, Trevor Manley and Noah Wilbrandt right there, the 7754, would bang on his goal and not let him get an inch of track and try to run away. They were on him from start till pass. But after that, it would be Noah Wilbrandt and Trevor Manley attacking this track like you have never seen before. Manley, Wilbrandt running away right now with that 2-stroke class. So much fun to watch. These kids were hauling the mail. This could have been the best moto ever to finish the TRANSCAN off. Look at these guys, inside, outside, banging these ruts. The track after the rain developed so good, but Manley would hang on to the win by a couple of inches over Noah Wilbrandt. 2-stroke class, championship, final moto. Manley